So are Chicago's finances worse than previously thought? The question was raised yesterday at City Hall. So what could that mean for you? Charlie Wojciechowski's been looking at all the options for us. Charlie?
Well, the mayor's office says they are looking for progressive revenue sources, and while those sources have yet to be identified, some groups are already expressing concern.
We have reached a point now where there's no return.
A frank admission from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. A looming budget crisis could be even worse than expected without new taxes or cuts to city services.
The systems that people rely upon, education, healthcare, housing, our transportation, they are woefully underfunded, and everyone knows that.
Right now, Chicago is facing a $1.1 billion budget gap for 2026. The financial burden could be even greater because of a pension bill signed by Governor J.B. Pritzker, which has increased retirement benefits for police and firefighters. That added over $11 billion to the city's long-term pension liability.
Yes, I'm going to put forth a package that people can assess and debate.
So what could be in such a package? Johnson has already ruled out a property tax increase, which many alders had promised to vote against. Other possibilities include a corporate payroll expense tax, a head tax, and even a tax on cars coming into the downtown area, patterned after New York's congestion tax.
I have not made a formal presentation yet, but I can assure you one thing, though. I am committed to making sure that the ultra-rich and those with means put more skin in the game. That is the pathway forward.
Already, the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce has called some administration ideas a step backwards for economic growth.
These things are bad for business. They're bad for jobs. They're a direct disincentive for employers to hire people in Chicago.
Another challenge. Johnson says the Chicago public schools are owed more than $1 billion in funding from the state of Illinois.
It's $1.6 billion. These aren't my numbers. These are the state's numbers. Who's hurting ultimately here?
Johnson says whatever is in the package he intends to present to the city council will be pro-business, pro-growth, and pro-worker. He is expected to make his budget address in October, but in previous years, he has pushed that back a little bit.
Okay, so we're in still the discussion phase, the ideas phase. When does Chicago have to have a budget and have it done?
The absolute deadline is December. That's when they start worrying about the bond ratings and all of that kind of thing. So right now there's a lot of flexibility here. Once he makes that address, there'll of course be city council debate. There'll have to be an approval process, and then we start talking about an approved budget for 2026.
And what about the CTA? Any word on funding for the CTA? We know that there's problems there as well.
Well, this isn't part of the city package, but instead it is part of the state package. They say there's a fiscal cliff coming, a $700 million fiscal cliff brought about by the end of the COVID funding that came last year. Once that expires, all the major agencies, not just the CTA, are going to have to come up with a plan. They're depending on Springfield for that as well. The fall veto session will be the earliest anything could get done on that matter.
We got a lot of decisions to make over the next few months.
Yeah.
It's going to be an expensive month for Chicago.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie.